Hello appraisers, this is Brandon with Choice Valuation, and today I'm bringing this video to you as a sneak peek into our newest and largest update to Spark, which adds the much requested feature of public records integration, along with several other features that we've added to the software to make it easier, quicker, and more functional for you all. Okay, so let's go ahead and get right into it. First thing I'm going to do is go to the Spark website right here, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a run through and show you loading the properties into Spark and then loading that data into your report, just so you can see how fast and easy it is to use. And then after that, I'm going to kind of show you what all it puts into your report, the new things we've added, and some of the different setting options you have in Spark. Okay, so let's go ahead and get right into it. I'm going to set a timer here so you can see how fast it does everything. So I'm going to hit start now, and then you type in your effective date. You load in your property report. These are the properties I should say, that you got from your MLS that you chose to put into your grid. That's done. Now I'm going to click here to add in my subject property information, and I'm going to change that over to address because I'm using the address. Hit get data. That's done. And now we're done. We've loaded the data into Spark. Now we just need to load it into our report. I'm going to drag this over to here, and I'm going to hit export. Now Spark is creating the file that it's going to hand off the data to Alamode through. All you do is you open that file. So Spark downloads a file to your computer, you open it, and then you choose the appropriate option here. I chose to create a new report. You can also choose to merge it into a currently open report. And now that is loading right into my report, as you can see down here. And there we go. So that is done. That took around 56 seconds to load in 14 competing properties along with the subject property. Okay, so now let's go in and show you what exactly Spark loaded into your report. So I'm going to click on Forms. You can see the top portion right here with your basic subject property information. This was a blank report open from scratch, so everything that you see in here is what was added by Spark. You got your lot size, the FEMA information, which actually Alamode puts in, and you've got some basic improvement features, the check boxes appropriately checked, garage information, patios, pools, fireplaces, and then you get down to your grid. So you can see it loaded in our subject into the grid, as much as information as it could get from CoreLogic. Now keep in mind, these properties, it has information from MLS and CoreLogic because we loaded in a file from our MLS. So it grabbed all the data from MLS, and then it also went and grabbed data from CoreLogic. With our subject, it just got the data from CoreLogic. And you can see it loads in the prior transfer history. You've got these boxes checked appropriately, and I'm going to scroll down so you can see some of the other competing properties. We got 4, 5, and 6, 7, 8, 9. Now, something I do want to point out is you can see there's prior transfer history information, but it's not loading that into your comment field. That's because with Spark you have an option. You can either have it load your transfer history comments into this field right here, the one that's right below your actual comps, or you can have it loaded into a separate text addendum so that all the prior transfer history information for all the comps is all in one spot. And that's what I've chosen to do. So that's why you don't see a comment here. So let's go ahead and scroll on down. Comps 10, 11, 12, and 13 and 14. Now, right here is that prior transfer history addendum that I was telling you about. So you can see it's got the subject 36-month prior transfer history, the address, the actual transfer, the comparable 12-month prior transfer history, the addresses for each one, along with each one's prior transfer history. You can see here actually comp 8 has 3 prior transfers that when you use Spark, that's a lot of information you no longer have to type into your report. And you can see that it does have the date, the price, the type of transfer, this was a special warranty deed, and a document number. In the case of this one, you can see the price was 0 and it was a quitclaim deed. And there again, the document number. Okay, so that's pretty much it as far as the basics of what Spark loads into your report. Now there's a couple other things I want to show you. One which I think is a pretty cool feature that we've added. I hope you guys like it. It's on the Work File tab. So I'm going to click Work File right here. And this is a property report that Spark loads into your digital work file. You just double click on it and it opens that report up into the PDF reader. And let me zoom in a little bit here so you can see this better. But you can see it's the Spark Property Summary Report. This is the first page. It's always the summary on the first page. It shows you all the properties that were loaded in, the basic information for with listing numbers and parcel numbers, and then all the listing numbers all in one spot and all the parcel numbers. This is actually a requested feature by several appraisers because I'm sure you can imagine how you could use this to, after the fact, go into your MLS and just quickly load in all these properties just by using the parcel numbers. You just copy and paste this right into your MLS in the MLS search. Okay, so here is the first page, of course, after the summary page, which shows you your subject property information. This is everything that Spark could get from CoreLogic. Since we didn't load this in through an MLS file, we just typed it in to grab it from CoreLogic. All the information typed in here. You got your entire property transaction history, the property mortgage finance history, and all this on one page. Now, you'll see there's a lot of missing items, and that's because we didn't load this in through MLS. We loaded it in by typing, as I've already said. So you're not going to have that information in here. But as we scroll down and get into the competing properties where I did use a file, you're going to see there's a lot more information on here. Now, keep in mind, this is all the MLS information that Spark has and all the CoreLogic information all on one page with comparisons of everything. So you can see that I can check out that bathrooms from MLS, it shows 2. From CoreLogic, it shows 2 as well. But there's items that are flagged in red, and that's when there's a discrepancy between MLS and CoreLogic. So right here, I can quickly glance at this page and say, oh, there's a discrepancy here in GLA. It looks like MLS shows 1900, Public Records shows 1646. Quickly in my mind, I can note that and know to go back in and dive in a little deeper. Perhaps it's an addition, who knows. Anyways, so kind of cool feature there. You got all the information all in one spot. Again, all the property transaction history, the mortgage finance history. You got your tax information here and the year, both from MLS and from public records, and so on, across every property that was loaded into your report. You've got it all right here. Now, there's one other thing I want to show you regarding this, and that is that in Spark you have an option to flip a switch. It's a setting, and you can have this load in maps as well into this property report. Now, I didn't do that when we ran it through, but I do have an example to show you already ready to go. So if I had the map option turned on, then I would get this. So after my summary page, I'd have a summary location map. Shows all my properties along with my subject property. If I had loaded in rentals, it would show my rentals. And these are all maps that are received from Google. And after my subject property page, as the one I've already shown you, then you've got the subject map page. It's going to show you a zoomed in map of the subject showing the parcel outline and the building footprint. Now this may vary by area. In some more outlying areas, you may not get this much detailed information. And then it also has the aerial. And you'll also notice that we've had Google flag it so that primary traffic arteries are in yellow. So they quickly stand out to you. So as I'm scrolling through this, I'll quickly see, oh yeah, this property right here sides a primary traffic artery. And I can kind of note that as I'm going through. And the yellow is also, of course, flagged on the aerial. And then as we go on through, you'll see the maps for each competing property. You got the zoomed in, and then also the zoomed in with the satellite view. And that's across all properties. Now, one thing I do want to tell you is when you turn on the map option in Spark, it does add about 10 to 30 seconds to your time. So in this case, if I had loaded maps, this would have been more like 1 minute and 6 seconds to 1 minute and 26 seconds, somewhere in there. And that's it. That's everything I wanted to show you there. Now I want to show you a couple other things in Spark itself. So I'm going to load up this page. Now you've got a couple features in here that I wanted to point out to you. So for example, you've got all these items that are looking red, and that's because there is a discrepancy with these as well. So this has a discrepancy between MLS and public records. You can hover over this and it shows you exactly what that is. You can decide to switch the entire line for all comps to public records with this, or you can just switch it to whichever one you want. If you don't want to see what's here, you just switch it to public records and it moves it over. I can also just click on it and switch it around like that. Now, another thing is, let's say in your area, public records is nearly always wrong when it comes to GLA. So you don't even want to see these flagged as red. It's just unimportant to you. You don't want to see it. then what you can do is go over here to the above grade GLA setting, and then it says MLS public record comparison. You just turn that off, say no, save changes, and then you hit the take me back button. Now you can see they're no longer red. It's just throwing in what was in MLS. You can do the exact opposite. You can just throw in public records all the time and turn off the comparison so you never see what MLS shows as well. Okay. Now another item I wanted to show you is sometimes the price or the date doesn't, those will show red because the date in MLS doesn't match the date in public records. So what I can do is I can just click that red price, and it brings up the screen that shows the entire transfer history for the property, and I can make sure that this matches what I want the actual sale to be. So you can see in MLS it showed the date and price as April 11th, and the price is $215, and then Spark chose this to be the sale, which is 4 days earlier and $1,400 lower. But yeah, I like that Spark chose that, so I want to leave it alone. But if I didn't want to, let's say I didn't like what Spark chose, or maybe Spark couldn't find a match, and so I want to go in here and find one myself, then you can pick any one of these and make that your sale. So right now, if I change this to the 1997 sale, I can click Done, and right here you can see that it loaded in the 1997 sale, it loaded in the appropriate document number and the price for that sale, and also the prior transfer history, which is down this magnifying glass down here. That also updates. So if I choose a sale here, then it's going to go in and look 12 months back from this date now rather than this date. And that's pretty much, actually, you know what? I was about to stop, but there's one other thing I wanted to show you. And right here, oops, excuse me, we've got the standard settings for the prior transfer history, and it's showing 36 months back and 12 months back for anything that's not a subject. Now, I can click this and also go to my alternate settings, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to click that button, and it switches over to my alternate settings, which are 36 and 36 months. So now it's going 3 years back for the competing properties as well. So it's just a quick little switch you can flip. If you have a particular client that likes to have a different number of months back for either your subject or your comps, then you can just click this button, switch over to your alternate settings, and all you do is this prior transfer history, you click that, and right here you can come in and set that yourself. So I have it set for my standard for my subject to 36, for my standard for my comps to 12, and then these are my alternates, and you can make those whatever you want them to be. You just type in how many months back you want Spark to search, and that's what it's going to grab. So let's go ahead and get out of here. And then one other thing regarding the prior transfer history is I can click on this magnifying glass. Here it's showing the current sale. Here it's showing this is marked because this is going to be going into my report. But let's say I just want to add in more transfers. I don't want to have to change my settings every time, but in this particular one, maybe the sale was only like a week before the 12 months, and so I just want to choose it myself. I can just click that, and I can choose or unchoose any one of these that I wanted to, and it will add that into your actual report when you load it into your total or win total report. Okay, now I'm really done. Thanks everybody for watching. I know this video got long. I appreciate you taking the time. I hope you guys are excited about it. We're really happy to get it out there. Right now it's the beginning of June, and we are planning on having this completely done and ready to launch to you guys by mid-June. We're thinking June 13th to 15th at the latest. Thanks again for watching. Bye-bye.